the plane of Eastern Airlines Company in America. The spirits of the dead pilot and flight engineer protect the crew and passengers of the plane. When you are traveling in the sky by plane, what will happen to you if you meet a spirit? After knowing that the person you heard or saw about is not alive, but it is his spirit. So what will be your reaction in such a situation? It will be unusual. After going through this sequence of events, when you realize that even though it was a spirit, but it came to do good, and it saved not only your life, but also the lives of many other people. At that time, instead of fear in your mind for it, surprise and happiness take place in your mind. This changes the common belief that ghosts are only evil and troublesome. Something similar happened with Faye Marie Weather, an air hostess working on Eastern Airlines Company's TriStar 318 flight. There were 180 passengers on the flight from New York to the coast of Florida. Faye Marie Weather got up from her seat and went to the food store to serve breakfast to the passengers during the journey. After reaching there, she extended her hand towards the oven, which kept the food fresh and warm. But a strange sight started floating in front of her eyes. She was about to scream, but she stopped it. A face was visible in the mirror in front of the oven. Its eyes were moving, and its lips were quivering. Faye Marie Weather closed her eyes in fear. After opening her eyes, she saw that there was no face like the one that had appeared a while ago. She thought that it could be her illusion. As soon as she held the handle to open the oven door, the face again started appearing in the glass. It seemed as if it wanted to say something. The man's visage changed on the oven glass like a television screen. This time, Faye Marie Weathers screamed. She ran to Flight Engineer Moore, and she described what she saw. Faye Weather was also shocked by what he said. To confirm it, he went with her to the food store. Still, that face was visible on the oven glass. He was saying something. This time, Faye Marie Weather and Moore also heard his voice. He was saying, "Be careful, the plane is about to catch fire. Get ready and save the plane." She recognized the face. It was a former flight engineer, Don Repo. He had died in an air crash. Now she realized that it was Don Repo's ghost who warned her. Others on the flight did not pay attention to her warning. They did not believe in the existence of ghosts. However, a few hours later, while on its way to Mexico, the engine of the plane broke down, due to which that plane had to be brought to New York. After repairs, as soon as the plane was flown for testing, its jet engine exploded like a bomb in the air. This was witnessed by Faye Marie and Moore. Don Repo's words were still echoing in his ears. He said in the survey that if special precautions had not been taken, and it had been sent for passenger flight, hundreds of people would have died. They also said that it was the ghost of the dead flight engineer, Don Repo, who had saved people's lives by giving warning. Let us know who this Don Repo was, and how did he become a ghost after death? The day was December 29th, 1972. Eastern Airlines Flight 401, a Lockheed L-201 TriStar jet, was flying with its captain, Bob Loft, and flight engineer, Don Repo. There were 163 passengers along with 10 flight attendants. It had taken off from John F. Kennedy in New York and was scheduled to land at Miami International Airport in Florida. The flight captain, Robert Albin, was 55 years old, Bob Loft Sr., and an accomplished pilot. He had 32 years and 20,000 hours of flying experience. His co-pilot was First Officer, 49-year-old Albert John Stockstill, with 6,000 hours of flying experience. He was accompanied by 51-year-old Donald Lewis Don Repo, a flight engineer with 16,000 hours of flying experience. The plane, which took off from New York's John F. Kennedy Airport at 9:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, was flying to Miami Airport at 11:30 p.m. that night. The landing gear was lowered to land the plane at the airport. It is necessary that its indicator should show green after landing. When pilot Stockstill did not see it, he became suspicious. If the landing gear is damaged, the wheels running on the runway will not work, and a major accident will occur. Ultimately, this is what happened in that flight. When the plane hit the ground, its speed was 365 kilometers per hour. Apart from 77 people, all the others died in the air crash. The spare parts or engines of the plane in that accident were installed in another plane. The food storage part and the oven glass in which Don Repo's face was seen in the new plane. TriStar 318 belonged to the crashed plane. It is not only Don Repo's ghost that appears. The ghost of Captain Bob Loft has also been seen by many people at various events. This ghost game started with the same Eastern Airlines plane TR-318. In 1973, the vice president of Eastern Airlines was traveling in this plane. On the seat next to him was sitting a pilot wearing the uniform of the captain of Eastern Airlines, who was also talking to him. After a few minutes, the vice president thought that if the captain of the plane is talking to him, then who would be flying the plane? As soon as he remembered this, he looked very carefully at the face of the captain sitting next to him, and was surprised to see that it was Captain Bob Loft, whom he knew very well that he had died in a plane crash a year ago. When he returned to the pilot's cabin part with the staff, Bob Loft's ghost had disappeared. In another incident, when the flight engineer entered the TriStar 318 for routine pre-flight checks, he saw the ghost of Don Repo in his full uniform checking the machine. Don Repo's ghost told him, "All the mechanical parts of the plane are fine. It is ready to fly. There is no danger to the flight." Then Don Repo's ghost disappeared. Thank you for listening to this spine-chilling ghost story. If you enjoyed being on the edge of your seat, waiting for the next eerie twist, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more bone-chilling tales and paranormal encounters. Hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss out on our latest terrifying stories. And remember, the supernatural world is always lurking in the shadows, waiting to be discovered. Subscribe now, and join us on our journey into the unknown.